Welcome to the Dr. Renee Sunday Show, where it's not too late to shine. We bring you transformative information for small business owners, entrepreneurial insight, wisdom, and secrets to aid you to be seen, be heard, and get paid, to catapult your life to more impact, success, and freedom. Now, please welcome your host, the platform builder herself, Dr. Renee Sunday.
Welcome to the Dr. Renee Sunday Show. Woo! I am your host. I am Dr. Renee Sunday. I am the platform builder. So you know what we do here. We bring you information. We actually got to educate you. All of us got to get this education so we can make wise decisions. And you know, as the platform builder, I help you identify your purpose if you're not aware. And then we build a platform to be seen, be heard, and you know the rest, right? Get paid. It's honorable to get paid because when you actually are paid, guess what? You can help somebody else. And it's all about a global effect. It's not all about you. I'm sorry to say that, but it's the truth, okay? But first of all, we want to also say thank you for supporting us and all the things that we do. You downloading us over on iTunes. You checking us out on YouTube. You're on our website. We love it. And also on social media as well. So we thank you for believing in us first. And then thank you for supporting us in the things that we do. You know, all the things you do. You guys, I love you, okay? But we don't want to delay because I've been in the green room. You know what I've been doing in the green room, okay? But we have this amazing world changer herself. We have Miss Shanon Williams. She's a chief executor of self-care housekeeping. Oh, I love it. It's a home wellness service dedicated to improving overall well-being by providing, guess what? Wait a minute, y'all listening? Yeah, listen. Improving services such as cleaning. Now, cleaning, what the old people say, cleaning next to godliness, right? And organizing and decluttering. Ooh, I don't like any clutter. And I love this part with the meal prep. You know, I've gone to a whole other level with my meal prep. I love it. And also home management. She's an amazing graduate of the University of Pittsburgh. Isn't that amazing? Woo-hoo! She studied social work, and then she also actually went back. She actually does amazing things with behavioral health counseling, program director. She's a group facilitator. She's a founder, and guess what? She's an entrepreneur. I love it. You know, she, along with her business, she's founded the Narrative Justice. Woo! She's going to tell us about that, which focused on the media accountability. Ooh, I love that. Oh, Lord. I just love her choice of words. Because the millennials, okay, I love y'all, okay? And the Wellness Collective, which is a neighbor-to-neighbor resource collective helping the community out in crisis and into long-term stability. I like that. I even like her penmanship, how she crafts the words. Oh, Lord. So let's get Miss Shanon on there. Shanon, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Welcome to I'm saying good deeds, y'all. Y'all know my mind and went back with the show. The show used to be Good Deeds. I was going to say Good Deeds. But welcome to the Dr. Renee Sunday Show. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. You ain't got me all excited about life. Woo, Lord, so I'm amazing. But let's talk about the amazing things tell us a little bit more about the amazing things that's going on in your life.
Sure. Well, first, I would like to say one of the most important, amazing things that are going on is my fiance, Christian Hughes. Shout out to Jackson Dreams. Other than that, the things that I have going on, like you said, I'm the chief executor for Self-Care Housekeeping. We're a home wellness service. That's been pretty great. We're in the process of growing, actually, including more services and growing our team and expanding into different regions. The Narrative Justice, we are there for media accountability, as stated. And so what that means is, I'll say we got started after, in 2014, Leroy Powell, who was a young man who was from an area called Duquesne, near Pittsburgh. He was murdered, actually, and it was because of our local news. He was a witness in a murder trial, and they aired it on the evening news and didn't take in consideration that this child was, a witness to a murder, and he died several days later. And so we started the narrative justice so that, our media will start to take into consideration the way that they impact Black, brown, and marginalized communities. The Wellness Collective, like I said, it's a neighbor-to-neighbor resource. And really what we do is, I'm a social worker by trade, and there is an assumption that our traditional social safety net is resourced as needed and has can meet all of our needs, and that's just not true. So Urban League and Catholic Charities and all these other great resources that exist, they are great. However, they don't have the capacity to provide the resources and support needed for our communities who are struggling or experiencing crisis. And so, essentially what we do is we stand in that gap. So when our neighbors are in need and, say they are behind in rent or need help with transportation or joblessness or whatever it is, we help bridge that gap just by the strength of our communities. So that's a kind of a rambly amalgamation of everything that I have going on right now.
Lord, these millennials, I love it. Jesus Christ. Let's step all the way back, and I know this may be a minor thing to some of the listeners, but I love everyone to be on one accord as much as possible. When you say the word self-care, what encompasses that in your terminology and the things that you work with, that we can kind of grasp what it is and what we should be doing when you say self-care?
So for me, self-care means constant balance and self-checking. And so making sure that our heads, our hearts, and our home are all in balance. That means that spiritually we're balanced. That means mentally and emotionally we're balanced, and physically, of course, we're balanced. And so what that means in regards to self-care housekeeping is that our space, our living space, directly affects how our mental and emotional space is doing, as well as our spiritual space. And so whatever it is that is causing us to be out of whack, self-care means identifying those roadblocks and then healing them, rectifying them, understanding them, getting around them, so that we are our truest and most healthy versions of ourselves.
I like that definition. That's amazing. Now, this may be off the path a little bit, but in the world right now, and you're a young lady, what do you perceive where we are when it comes to self-care, just across the board? I know some careers have higher risk of stress, higher, depending on what's the season, depending on how much they work, and depending on, what's going on in the world. But just kind of in general across the board, where do you see the world in general in regards to self-care? Are we doing a good job? Are we not? What's really the climate that we can see right now?
Well, personally, I believe that we're not doing well at all when it comes to self-care. And I look at, the rates of depression. I look at the rates of suicide or suicide attempts. I look at the rates of hopelessness that people experience. And also I look at the rate of gentrification in urban communities and how all that plays into, an unhealthy body alignment. And, when I say body alignment, I do mean head, heart, and home. And so, across the board, I'm personally concerned with where we are and hoping that, with the efforts that we're doing with self-care and with the Wellness Collective and the narrative justice and the efforts of others, that hopefully we can start to change that tide. But again, I think it's a matter of identifying where the problems are and rectifying them.
Yeah, I agree with that. We actually have to have a conversation about it, because sweeping it under the rug, if you will, it's not that. Obviously, we know that hasn't done anything. We know that. But what we have to do is have the courage enough to talk about it, number one, and then realize it's a process. It's not going to be like, the different places we go in order fast food. It's not going to be that way because we have to do a whole reprogramming. And I want to say this just real quick. If we doing a habit, a good habit or a bad habit, we'll just say that in general, it takes a minimum of 21 days to change that. That's a long time if you think about it, and then some studies now saying up to 60 days to really change that. It's so funny. I'm laughing at myself. This is just a little side thing, a transparent moment. I used to have a convertible. I had the convertible, maybe 6 years, I think, and now I have an SUV. My leg is still not used to being in the SUV with the extra room. So I still have my leg like I'm in a convertible because, convertible have a little less space in the front. And it's so funny that my mind still puts my leg up, at a certain angle and don't realize I have an extra room under there to relax in an SUV. So I notice it's I'm not conscious of it, Shannon. So I realize if it's a good thing or a bad thing, it takes a while for us to be reprogrammed, if you want to call it that. That may not be a nice word to say, but really to make a change in the things that what we believe and what we actually are, what we're doing as well.
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
Lord have mercy. Let me ask you this, because what I really love what you have shared, and you're making me so excited about the home. Tell us a little bit more of how you, and the services that you do, the importance of the home having wellness, if you will, at the home front. Explain to us how important that is and different tactics. Of course, we need to contact you, to go further with this. But how we can actually make our home a wellness place that we actually do have harmony.
Sure. So first, let me tell you how we even got started with self-care. So about 3.5, 4 years ago, now I was diagnosed with unspecified bipolar disorder. And so for me, because it is different for everyone, but for me that means that when I'm up, I'm really, really excited. I'm really, really happy. I have way too much energy. I work really well. I feel invincible. Like it's all good things, or at least like it feels like all good things. And then on the lower end of that, on the downswing of that, I'm really depressed. I can't be around other people, or it's very difficult for me be around other people. I have a hard time moving, and I can't keep my house together. I can't clean. I can't keep things decluttered. I eat garbage, and I can't, maintain my household duties, like paying bills on time. I'll have the money, but I won't pay the bills. And those are the effects of like what it feels like for me to be depressed. And so when I was diagnosed, my therapist and I, we went and we combed through all of my behaviors. We codified everything to understand what are my depressive behaviors and what are my manic behaviors. And manic is when I'm really, really up and happy. And what I recognized was that when I was depressed is when I, experienced the not being able to keep up with my home or my dietary needs. And so, I'm a social worker by trade, so I know how to find resources. So immediately I went to find a service or a number of services to help me in those depressive moments to improve my self-care and my internal self. And I couldn't find anything. And then briefly I considered hiring a housekeeper. But because I would need a housekeeper when I was depressed, I really didn't like the idea of just anybody like rummaging through my house when I was vulnerable. So that was out. And plus there wasn't a service that hit all four of those major areas that are impacted when I'm depressed. And so Brett, self-care housekeeping. That's when I started it because it was a need, and what I learned was it wasn't just a need for me, it was a need for a lot of people. And so, so we established our services and hit on those pain points when, when folks tend to feel overwhelmed or, dealing with stuff like myself, like mental illness, depression, stress, life, and again, that's cleaning, organizing, decluttering, meal prep, and home management, which is a different type of organizing. And so what I've recognized in the past year or 2 years, rather, of doing this work is that, for one thing, cleaning and keeping your home when you're stressed out or dealing with something is not the same thing when you're doing perfectly fine. It's an entirely different process, which is why it can be jarring for folks when they can't do something that they know absolutely that they know how to do. Like, you know, we all know how to clean. We all know how to wash the dishes and put things away. But when we can't do that, like, we don't have words or we don't even have an explanation why for ourselves, let alone other people, that I can't do this thing, you know, that's innate to you know, being an adult. Well, the reality is that you're not just washing the dishes. You're washing the dishes and you're also stepping over trauma, say, like, or you're going around work stress, or, you know, you're dealing with, like, the kids, or, you know, like the breakup or whatever it is that's stressing you out. You have to deal with those things in the home. Like, they manifest in your physical space as well, which can be very depleting and tiresome and overwhelming, and ultimately those things just don't get done very well, and which can cause more stress, and then the cycle continues. You know, so when I think about the necessity of being able to have your home clean and organized, like, especially while you're dealing with life and life's challenges, it truly has been a matter of if I'm going to be well, or if I'm going to experience, like, severe symptoms of my own mental illness. And so, like, that's my personal experience, being able to, you know, wake up and not have a room where there's clothes on the floor and there's dishes in the sink and there's clutter all over my coffee table. Being able to wake up and those things are not the case, and I'm dealing with depression, like, it softens so much the impact of, you know, what depression even looks or feels like for me. And so, like, I would say, like, after I've been doing this for a couple of years, my stages of depression have been super mild and super short, as opposed to prior to that, when I didn't have an understanding of how I'm impacted by my physical space. It was, like, really, really long and really, really intense, you know, and that was when I was feeling, I had the experience where I couldn't be around people. Like, it hurt to be around people, and I couldn't move, and I was sleeping on my couch and not in my room because my room was a mess, and it was painful to be in there, like, all of those things. So, like, on a personal level, my home absolutely plays a direct role in how well I am doing in my head, my heart, and my home. And it's been my experience with my clients, and, you know, we do workshops as well, is that it's very similar to other people as well, regardless if they have a diagnosis or not, because, you know, we're all human bodies, and we're all people living in this life and dealing with very similar stresses and life challenges. And so, you know, when you're a person who's, you know, dealing with stress and living in a home that is unkept, like, that can cause more stress, versus, like, when you're able to, like, have an exist in a home that isn't in disarray or out of order, or, you know, like, or a meal plan that is not the best, not the healthiest, just because you don't have the time, the patience, or you're just dealing with a lot and the comfort food just feels better at that point. You know, having those things in order while you are dealing with stress, like, makes the stress so much more manageable. Yeah, and takes the catastrophizing out of everything. So I hope that answered your question, my long soliloquy.
Oh, no, that's perfect, because you actually did a light bulb for me that I didn't realize what I was doing, because I wear a lot of hats, just like you. And my mom, I'll just be honest, my mom and dad didn't play that, you know, having stuff everywhere, the house be clean a certain way, you know, the beds had to be like the army, you can put a quarter and it pops up and all that. And so when I started doing a lot of things besides the medical field, I actually got overwhelmed because, you know, when you first start a lot of business, you're doing everything yourself. You know, you're the graphic designer, you doing your own website, you calling appointments and all that. And one thing I realized that I had to have my sanctuary right. I had to do that. And so, yeah, you know, I'm not boasting by saying this, but I knew that I had to get a housekeeper, and it got to the point that I knew what exactly she can't go over a certain amount of times before time in between there that my creativity has started slacking off a little. So we got that down, so she knows when she got to come. But the other thing that I'm grateful that you just pointed out that I didn't realize in my own life, I'm being transparent. My real good friend, and she's a vegan and gluten free, and I knew she had to start doing meal prep, and it ended up being a business. And so she kept saying certain things I need to stop doing, And, I'm a physician. I'm going to be transparent. I was like, okay. But when I actually started her doing them for me, and I got I'm not advocating a particular brand, but I ended up getting an air fryer and those type of things. My life totally changed. And in the fact, I gained more energy, and I actually lost weight, which is ching, right? But so we actually have to search ourselves. And the one thing I do want to point out that Shanon said so amazingly, that is get help, with a counselor, because we all have blind spots. We all do. I mean, that's naturally that, with our eyes, you can go back so far. We have a natural blind eye, but we do really have that, and we can't see the things that we're actually doing. So I commend you for taking that time to doing that, because we need that. But let me ask you this though, with all the things, I'm gonna say brands, the brand that you have with the different collectives and justice and with the self-care housekeeping, where should we go from here? If someone is listening right now and they say, wait a minute, what you just said and what Dr. Sunday said, I'm like, wait a minute, that's what I'm going through. I'm mad driving, on all this driving back and forth and all this, and I feel like I'm in a rut. I've heard a lot of people say that. And then I've heard people say, you probably also, Shanon, heard people say, the struggle is real, kind of thing. So what should you tell our audience right now, if the things you just went through, and from the little bit that I shared in our transparent moment here, that what should they do if they feeling like, wait a minute, she's talking about me. Shanon, you just talked about me. Dr. Sunday, you just told me a little bit about what I'm doing. What should they do going forward from that? Of course, everybody's case is different. Of course, we're not giving you medical advice at this level, but just kind of surface what we should do. And, of course, a counselor is always important, okay?
I would say, if you're in the Allegheny County area or Beaver County or Butler County area, I'd say reach out to Self-Care Housekeeping. But otherwise, if you're too far away from us, I would definitely say assess what your challenges are, and that means like what are the mental and emotional challenges that you're having, and how are they manifesting into your physical space. So be that they're manifesting in my laundry, or they're manifesting in my dishes, and I can't do these things, or they're manifesting in my diet, and I can't deal with this right now, and it's making me feel bad. Then identifying those things, and then figuring out how you're going to navigate through those things. I contribute to a blog, the Pittsburgh Lesbian Correspondent blog here in Pittsburgh, and I run a column on home care and mental health, and so I get some tips on there as well about how generally, like, what my experience has been with self-care, and also how I personally manage stress and depression as I'm going through life, and also in my life's work, which that could be a helpful space. And I also do workshops as well, travel and do workshops to walk through self-care. And it's immersive and it's hands-on, which has been very successful and very helpful for our attendees. But, like on an individual level, on a very micro level, I would say being able to identify within yourself what are the challenges that you're dealing with and how they're manifesting in your home, and then figuring out, like, what are some courses of action you can take in order to get over those challenges so that you can get back to who you feel like you should be, like, your healthy and happy version of yourself.
Girl, you didn't say that. I like that happier version of yourself. But what that everybody say, the best version of yourself, but I like what you said, the happier version of yourself. Because people don't realize how important peace is. I love my peace. I'm going to just say that. If I start feeling funny and I'm not at peace, I stop everything. I have learned, and I hate that it took 50 years to realize that, but I've learned if I'm not at peace and I feel confused about a business deal, you let me know. I'm telling you that business deal doesn't go through. I tell them I need to get back with them in 24 hours or whatever. But I don't go through with pretty much, nervousness is totally different now than feeling confused. Let me say that because people may say, well, that's something. Yeah, nervousness, if it's a new arena that I've never been in and stuff like that versus confusion, that's different, okay? Let me say that right, Shannon. That's a totally different concept, right?
So no.
But, we've had a wonderful conversation. I would love to get you back on here to just chime in and just love on us in regards of self-care. You're just amazing, and I feel just from your energy that you exude that you really care and you want people to do better. And I thank you for that. But if you have any other things you want to share, and then please tell us how we can contact you and support you in the things that you're doing, and social media as well, if you want to share that.
Sure. I guess the only thing that I would like to share, which I find to be very important, is the stigma around home care, especially for women. There's an assumption that if you're a woman that you should just inherently be able to keep your home, and when you can't, that it makes you less of a woman and unworthy. Of course, it's true across the board for people generally, but it's especially true for women that we deal with this stigma of when we can't keep our home, that there's something wrong with us. And I want to definitely say that that's not true. And it's very harmful to make assumptions like that for ourselves and for other people. And like I said earlier, the reality is that it's just not the same thing keeping home when you're dealing with a lot and you're overwhelmed and other things are going on versus when everything is perfectly fine and you have the supports that you need. I think it's important that we develop language around home care as a mental health practice and a self-care practice, in order to self-advocate for ourselves and also to understand our own circumstances so that we can get to a better place, and that takes understanding first and being forgiving of ourselves. So I just wanted to make sure that is said because I come across that a lot with my clients and people in the community, and when we do workshops, it's that overwhelming feeling of guilt and shame, and no one deserves that, and it's not real, it's not true, and it's not deserved. As far as how folks can reach out, if someone would like to, if someone would like to schedule a workshop with us, you can reach out to me directly at Shanon at selfcarehousekeeping.com. My name is spelled SHANON at selfcarehousekeeping.com. Reach out. You can ask questions, schedule a workshop, request a service, anything like that, or if you just wanted to say hi. I think that's pretty cool too. And you can also find us on Facebook. We're on Facebook as Self-Care Housekeeping, and Instagram is Self-Care PGH.
I love it. Well, first of all, Shanon, we want to thank you so much for being in your purpose. The next thing, we want to thank you so much for taking time out your busy schedule to be here with us on the Dr. Renee Sunday Show. If you need us for anything, please don't hesitate to contact us.
Thank you so much, and thank you.
This girl and ignited me. My mind is just, I'm at peace. I love to hear young people. She's getting us straight. All of us need to go through her session, okay? And you amazing, baby. What
Thank
you say,
so
sweetie?
much.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
Say that again, sweetie. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a powerful one. This one you need to put in your library, so I know get ready for the download and just play it like 7 or 8 times while you drive in the car, okay? Say repeat, playlist, repeat, because she said she dropped a lot of information that we need to reach out and be a part of her, her team, and so we can actually have a happier version. I'm going to give her credit, like, who that said that? I think Steve Harvey, I'm going to give you credit 3 times, and I'm going to go and say it. No, I'm just kidding. But I like that, a happier version of yourself. So we need to do that. And mental health is a real thing. So and the stigma around that, oh, God, we could talk all to next year on that. But we want you to feel better. We want you to have a happier life. We want you to have peace. Reach out to Shanon Williams. We have her information. And if, I'm a physician as well, we can contact you with someone. I'm a counselor as well. But, depending on what your fit is, we're not going to make sure you're in the right fit that you can actually have a happier version of your life. How many times I already said that now? Oh, my God, I love it. But we want you to actually obtain your goals and dreams and purpose in life. That's what it's all about, right? Because you have a purpose. All of us have a purpose. Amen? Yeah, I'm going to say amen on that end. But if you want to be a guest on our podcast, if you want to start your own podcast, if you want to start your own magazine, your own television show, we can help you with that because we do that. And also, if you publish that book, don't just go on and do it. So we do have a publishing company. I'm an international speaker. I'm a counselor, grief counselor as well. But the things that I do is to help others, the umbrella of helping others. I don't, if I'm not a good fit, I guess we're going to help you find the right person you need to be with, okay? But I want you to remember, you do have a calling. You do have a reason you were born. You're not a mistake. No matter what someone is telling you or somebody have told you in the past, and what you have told yourself in the past or what you're saying right now, you're not a mistake. We all have to do 3 things. We have to believe, we have to trust, and we have to walk it out. You know the rest. We have to don't stop. What? We got to get it. And what do we get it? We're getting our purpose and getting our purpose now. I love you. I truly love you. This is the Dr. Renee Sunday Show. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.